Yo, YouTube, what's up? I'm Tim. He's AC. This is the Kashkelly and AC Sports Report. NHL playoffs are starting. And, once we get to the Western Conference Finals and Eastern Conference Finals and all that, and the Stanley Cup, we'll cover that more. But I've had people asking me, why don't you guys cover hockey, this and that? AC's a big hockey fan. I'm not. To tell you the truth, we're going to preview Flyers and Sabres. I'm not even a Flyers fan. I'm an Anaheim Ducks fan. It's a long story involving me getting a jacket. I don't need to go into that. But anyway, here, we're going to preview Flyers, Sabres series. AC, what's your thoughts on this?
I mean, it should be a pretty decent series. I'm going to have to go with my Flyers in this one. I'm watching the pregame right now, getting pretty fired up. The thing right now, at least in Game 1 we know for sure, and possibly Game 2, is Chris Pronger is out. Now, you know Chris Pronger just as well as I do, and you know his impact on whatever team he's playing for. It's large.
Yeah, and I mean, especially the playoff experience is large too.
He's got one of the most experienced players in the playoffs in the NHL right now, and he brings a real physical presence and just a real intimidation factor when you're out on the ice, when he's out on the ice. Miller is in goal. He will be in goal tonight and for the rest of the series, probably for the Sabres, one of the top goaltenders in the league. So the Flyers, most probably the Briere line, will have to step up and get some good passing and really bring some intensity. I think the key for the Flyers in this series is intensity, and the key for the Sabres is to limit the number of goals that they allow. Because the Flyers, once they get on the roll, they can start really scoring, and then that intensity level just keeps on climbing, and then they're almost unstoppable with the depth that they have. So I think those are the keys, and I'm going to take the Flyers in 5 in this one, possibly even 6.
A lot of people say in the NHL playoffs, which I personally think are probably the best playoffs in sports. I mean, it's not my favorite sport, but I think that the quality of most of the playoff series, especially when you get to the later rounds, are tremendous. But I think if you look at the NHL playoffs, a lot of people say that the key is having a hot goalie. And if you're going to go goalie, I mean, obviously the Sabres are getting the edge. You don't know for the Flyers, even if Bobrovsky's going to be in the net in Game 2, I mean, there's a lot of questions. He's a rookie, and I'm drawing a blank on the Flyers' other goalie's name for right
Boucher.
Here. Yeah, Brian Boucher. And, I mean, neither of those guys strike fear, but the bottom line is neither did Michael Leighton for the Flyers last season, and that worked out pretty well. So, I mean, if the Flyers can get a hot goalie going and they can get Pronger back, they have a good team there. And they have a lot of chance to win big things, maybe go back to the Stanley Cup and possibly win this year. But I think a lot of people are sleeping on the Sabres. It doesn't take much in the playoffs. And for me, they got the best goalie, I think, in the NHL right now, or one of. And they could make a run at this series if stuff really goes wrong with Bobrovsky and Boucher doesn't work out well, and Pronger has trouble staying healthy, because it doesn't matter how many. You're not going to score a ton of goals on Ryan Miller, but if you have a defense that's laggy, and I mean, even without Pronger, the Flyers are one of the better defenses in the NHL. But if you take Pronger out of there, you're losing a lot of defensive intensity and playoff experience, and you're going with some younger guys. And I think back in that net, you just don't know what you're going to get right now. And throughout the season, the Flyers looked like a team that were going to do big things, and they were going to run away with the Eastern Conference, and they just struggled through that second half. So I'm not necessarily confident that they're just going to run away with this series. That being said, I will take the Flyers in. I'm struggling with this. I think I'll say 6, but I wouldn't be shocked if the Sabres won, and I wouldn't be shocked if it went to 7 games. I think this has the potential to be, it could be a really good series, or it could be a 4-game sweep from the Flyers. So, basically all is going to depend on what Sergei Bobrovsky does.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. When you don't have one set goalie, you don't know what you're going to get. The Sabres know what they're going to get with Ryan Miller, and that's going to be quality goaltending, because he's one of the premier in the league. Bobrovsky and Boucher, I mean, the 1-2 goalies have been have been pretty solid during the regular season. But I mean, during the regular season, it's not like the wear and tear on your body and everything that the playoffs have. And if you don't have one set goalie, like you said, you really don't. You're not 100% sure what you're going to get. And the Flyers, their defense has been of late in question. I could say that as much. But I mean, their goal scoring has definitely not. So if their goal scoring can make up for that defense, I think once they get Pronger back, I don't see a whole lot of concern with this team as far as stopping other teams from scoring.
No, neither do I. And I think the Flyers could make another run at this East. I mean, who else is out there? The Penguins are in trouble. I mean, Crosby, you don't know if he's even going to play at any point in the playoffs. And they haven't necessarily been a great team this year. The Capitals every year when they have the best record in the Eastern Conference and bow out in the second round of the playoffs. So, I mean, they could win this year, but I mean, it's like the San Jose Sharks. Chances are they probably won't. So
I'm going to say something about the Capitals right now. I got a lot of people coming up to me telling me, oh, the Capitals are going to run away with this one. Look out for the Capitals. I said, yeah, you said the same thing last year, okay? Ovechkin doesn't make that whole team. He definitely doesn't. And they always come out with the 1 or 2 seed, and they never do anything like you just stated. I mean, I'm just going to say that right now.
Yeah, but the thing they have added there is they are a much better defense this season. They had a lot of experience on that defense. And I think that a lot of people have said they're a more complete team. Ovechkin and a lot of guys, their stats dipped, but overall as a team, they probably, by the time they adjusted at the end of the season, became a better team. So I'm not saying the Capitals will bow out, and I'm saying, you know, that's kind of been the reoccurring theme there. I think the Capitals can make a run at it too, but I mean, if you're asking me who I'm going to put all my chips on, it's not the Capitals. I really have no idea, because the Flyers are in some questions right now. The Penguins are. The East is wide open right now. The West, I mean, the Canucks could make a run at it, but I don't know if I have confidence in that. The Red Wings are down this year. The Blackhawks are not what they were. My Anaheim Ducks lost last night to the Oilers. The Coyotes, I mean, everyone is out there this season, and it should be a great playoffs once again.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes the NHL playoffs so great, is because you never, ever know what's going to happen. The Flyers made it last year as a 7 seed, and then the Blackhawks were like a 2 seed, so they were expected to be there. But, I mean, it's just, it's extremely unpredictable, and it's high-intensity level. And on that note, I'm going to wrap it up because the game's starting pretty soon.
Okay, just one more thing for me to throw in there. I think the biggest thing is hockey is the only sport where an 8 seed can legit beat a 1 seed. So, should be a great playoffs. We will be here to cover it. I'm Tim, he's AC. We'll catch you later.